Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is paper. P-A-P-E-R.
You say that every week, don't you?
Really?
You bet your life, huh?
It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who have on display the outstanding DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission and the all-new Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples.
First, we have a housewife and a man with an interesting occupation, Groucho. Mrs. Helen Pfeiffer and Mr. Milt Whistler. Would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Helen Pfeiffer, and Milt Whistler, huh? Well, so far we've got 2/3 of a bugle corps. Mrs. Pfeiffer, where are you from?
Well, Mr. Marx, I was born in Bayou Sara, Louisiana.
Where is that exactly, say, in relation to Baton Rouge?
Bayou Sara used to be about 100 miles south of Baton Rouge, just across the Mississippi River.
What do you mean it used to be? Did the alligator swallow it up?
Almost. You see, the Mississippi River just washed it away. It flooded, and Bayou Sara went down to the bottom.
That's so. Well, that's not very handy if you want to go to the post office, is it? You're Milt Whistler, is that right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. I suppose you've had all the jokes about Whistler's mother.
I'm afraid so. That's been run into the ground.
Been running the ground, you say?
I'm afraid so, yes.
Well, I'll get in a hole someplace and try it again. So what is your hometown?
I was born in Los Angeles, just below the Coliseum.
Well, you must see the football games free then, huh?
No, I didn't get a lifetime pass.
What sort of work do you do now that you're out of the Coliseum?
I'm a rose hybridist.
Rose hybridist? I knew her very well, eh?
You did? Good.
She had a pair of the prettiest stems I ever saw. Now, just what is a hybridist?
Hybridist is a man who makes his living crossing plants.
Well, don't ever cross a snapdragon. You'll take a bite out of your plants if you do that. Now, I don't understand. What is the purpose of all this double crossing?
Well, the end result is a new variety or a new strain with improved characteristics such as longer bud form, better foliage, more vigor, more fragrance, better bloom habit.
You mean every time you cross the flowers they improve?
No, not every time.
No,
not by a long shot.
Have you developed any neurosis yourself? I have a neurosis. Any new roses, I mean.
Yes, I've developed 4 or 5. Our firm, Germain's, have introduced varieties such as Candle Glow, Amigo, Grand Canyon, Old the Stork, Sun Valley, and Chrysler Imperial.
Chrysler Imperial?
Yes, Chrysler Imperial. Very fine rose.
What about calling one the Groucho Special? After all, I'm sort of the flower of American manhood.
You got any varieties to suggest as parents?
Well, that's what they mean when they call me a blooming idiot. Well, I'd like to go on talking to you two, but now it's time to play You Bet Your Life. Tonight we've got a surprise for you. We've added something to the quiz. You play the game exactly the same way with this exception. We start you off with a $100 bankroll, and when you miss a question, you lose half of whatever you've got. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right, now let's play it and see how it works. You selected movie quiz.
70. Want to try with 70?
70? $70. All right. Who plays the title role in the motion picture Julius Caesar?
Oh, I know it. Oh. I know, and I just couldn't think of it.
I know. Sometimes you get nervous up here. It was Louis Calhoun.
Oh.
Well, you've lost half your bankroll, so you now have $50.
Is that clear? Instead of having 100, you now have 50.
I'm sorry.
Let's try the 30.
Okay.
30. Betty Grable and Marilyn Monroe are two of the three female stars in How to Marry a Millionaire. Who was the third?
No, you said Lauren Bacall, Betty Grable, and Marilyn Monroe.
That's right. So you got the whole three.
Well, your bankroll is climbing again. You now have $80.
Now you have $80. Now what do you want to try?
Let's try the $80.
All right.
$80? What is James Wong Howe's job in the making of a movie?
He's a cameraman.
That is true. He's a cameraman.
Your bankroll now amounts to $160.
Which question do you want this time?
Shall we take the 90? Do you want to take the 90? All right, the $90 one.
90. Who is the director of such pictures as The African Queen and Moulin Rouge? Who is the director? Very famous director.
Oh,
All right, the bell.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should have known it. It's John Huston.
And you wind up with $80.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We have a man with an unusual occupation, Groucho. His name is Mr. Art McBride. His partner, Dr. Eleanor Fraser, was chosen by our studio audience just before we went on the air. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Eleanor Fraser and Art McBride, huh? Dr. Eleanor Fraser, huh? You're Art McBride, huh? Eleanor, you're a doctor?
Yes, I am.
Well, compared to my doctor, you're certainly a treat instead of a treatment. Where are you from, Doc?
Well, I was born in Woodlake, California. That's a small town on the way to Sequoia National Park, but now I live in Laguna Beach.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Not married, huh? Really? Being a doctor, I thought maybe by this time you'd have some guy all sewed up. How old are you, Doc?
I'm 26.
26. Well, that's a very nice age for a doctor. What kind of a doctor are you? Are you horse, human, or tree?
Well, I'm an intern, but I'm planning to specialize in radiology.
Where do you do your interning?
At Los Angeles County Hospital. That's the second largest hospital in the world.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
Does a doctor make pretty good money? I understand they're all loaded.
Well, I'm not. I make $75 a week, and when taxes, a month.
$75 a month?
Yes, and after taxes
I was
are
going to
taken
propose
out,
to you.
After taxes are taken out, it's $71.30.
After all the medical education you've had, huh? You could make more money slicing salami in a delicatessen. As a matter of fact, there's not too much difference. Well, I admire you, Doctor. When a pretty girl devotes her life to helping other people, she deserves a lot of credit. You can operate on me anytime you want. And you're Art McBride?
That's right, Groucho.
Where are you from?
Well, I was from Canada, from Vancouver, but I've been in the United States many years.
Why did you leave Vancouver?
Ran out of fish up there.
Were you a fisherman?
That's right. I was in the commercial fishing for about 25 years.
And what sort of work do you do now?
I have the Ocean Aquarium down at Hermosa Beach, Groucho.
Oh.
About 12 miles south of here.
What kind of a place is that?
It's a public aquarium with a display of all the different types of fish. There's sharks and seals and sea lions and bat rays, electric eels, piranhas, and big octopus. So I could go on naming a lot of things.
Octopus?
That's right.
What is the plural of octopus, do you know?
Octopi or octopuses. Whichever you want.
What is the most interesting exhibit you have to offer?
We have a new one, Groucho. It's Winnie the Whale with the...
Winnie the Whale?
With the detachable tail.
Oh. Is that anything like Minnie the Moocher? I beg you, it sounded like you said Winnie the Whale with a detachable tail. Would you give me that again?
Yeah, that is correct.
That is correct?
Yes, sir, that is.
What do you mean, a detachable tail?
Well, it's about a year and a half ago that Winnie was a California gray whale swimming out in the ocean, quite happy. And the destroyer...
How do you know?
Well, I'll take that back. She was swimming out in the ocean. And
it's not easy to know when a whale is happy. I've hung around a lot of them, believe me. They're tough going. They won't say, They can have a headache and you won't get a peep out of them. They just sit there and spout. Well, tell us some more about this detachable tail.
Well, the destroyer rammed the Winnie, and the tail was completely cut off by the propellers of the ship. Mm-hmm. The Coast Guard picked the whale up and brought her into shore at San Diego at Mission Bay. I went down with cranes, raised her out, and brought her up to the Ocean Aquarium, and I embalmed the animal.
Well, Art, I think you're a genius. Not only that, but you're a great businessman. A smart operator and a whale of a fellow. Put it that way. I'm just humoring you. I don't take any chances with a screwball who embalms whales. You know, he might take it in his head to put me on exhibition. Well, I must say I've learned nothing about whales here tonight, but fortunately the time has come to play You Bet Your Life.
Can I ask you a question just before you get on?
Well, that depends.
I was watching one of your shows, Groucho, around Christmas time, and you were going to get a bus for the McKinley School for Boys.
That's true.
Did you get it?
I don't think they've got it yet. Why do you ask?
We have 2 ravens that collect pennies from people. Down at the aquarium, the people give them pennies, and they hide the pennies. And we've been saving them for some good charity. There's about $500 in those sacks, and the ravens, I think, would like to help you with your cause and fix those schoolboys up with a bus.
Well, Art, I think that's a wonderful idea, and I'm pretty sure your $500 should bring that total to just about what they need for a bus.
That's fine.
I'll throw 100 of my own money in there, too. I didn't get it from a raven, but I'll throw on that. Well, now we got $600, huh? Well, you know, we've had a lot of interest in this, and during the week I'll find out exactly how it stands and give you a complete report. All right, now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You select a general information quiz, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is.
In the race for the $1,500, the first couple, Mrs. Pfeiffer and Mr. Whistler, won $80. And the secret word is paper.
We start you off with a $100 bankroll, and when you miss a question, you lose half of whatever you've got. Now, which question do you want to try for? 10, 50, 70, 90, 100?
70.
How much?
70.
70. Now, what do you call the special type of scissors used to cut cloth so it won't ravel?
Pinking shears.
Pinking shears is right.
You now have $170.
See how handy it is to have a girl on the show who does operations? She's probably pinked many a customer down. 80.
Okay, 80.
Have you ever had a doctor that looked as good as that?
I'm going to get sick tonight.
I've been sick for 15 minutes. You're going to try 80, eh? What do you call a Russian tea urn with a charcoal heating unit? I'm sure you've heard of this.
Samovar.
That's right, samovar, best friend.
Your bankroll now stands at $250.
90?
90, eh?
$90.
What is the one letter of the alphabet that does not appear on the standard dial phone?
I.
No, it's Q.
You now have lost one half of your bankroll, so you have $125.
Well, here's your last chance to beat the other couples. Now, what do you want to try?
100.
100. What do you call the swinging bar to which the traces of a horse's harness are fastened?
The whipple tree?
Oh, you're so cute. That is absolutely right.
And you wind up with a grand total of $225.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. And, Doctor, I'm going to call on you real soon. George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we invited some high school girls to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Miss Jan Van Alsten to be our guest. And her partner is Mr. Ed Ryan, Groucho. And when I heard he was in town, I invited him down to the show. And in just a moment, I think you're going to understand why I did. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome, kids, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Bush Feckety, say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Well, what are you Santa Claus or Rip Van Winkle?
Neither one, Groucho.
Well, who are you?
I'm Ed Ryan.
Well, you're evading the issue. What are you hiding under those whiskers?
I'm not hiding anything, Groucho.
Well, what a waste, huh? There's room under there for a 12-pound turkey and a pumpernickel. You say you're Ed Ryan?
Ed Ryan.
Where are you from, Eddie, my
I'm
lad?
from the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota.
Well, welcome to the smoggy plains of Los Angeles. Well, what are you doing in town, Ed? Are you bringing in a load for a mattress factory?
I'm here on a visit, Groucho.
Oh. Well, what do you think of our little city, Ed?
Well, I think it's a wonderful little place. And the people
it.
have been awful nice to me, Groucho. You've got some pretty darn nice-looking women, too.
Why, Ed, you're nothing but an old Groucho Marx. Let's see, you're Jan Van Alstyne?
That's right.
Well, unless my eyes are deceiving me, you're a very attractive young lady.
Thank you very much.
If your eyes were deceiving you, you could say something nice about me, too. How old are you, Jan?
I'm 16.
16, huh? What, you go to school, I presume, huh?
I do. Santa Monica High School.
Is that where you go, Santa Monica High? Yeah?
The greatest, finest school in California.
It is, huh? This apple polishing won't do you any good, you know. If your marks are unsatisfactory, you won't pass anyway. Mr. Ryan, let's get back to you. When did you start growing that schnitzel you've got there? Huh?
When I joined the Army, Groucho.
You were in the Army?
Yes.
Well, let me guess. You're certainly too old for the last war. Were you in World War I?
No,
Spanish-American War?
no,
Civil War?
no. I was with General George Custer.
That's impossible. Custer was even before my time. How old do you say you are, Ed?
I'm 97.
Ed, if you're 97, I'm Bing Crosby. Can you prove it?
Yes,
You know, a
sir.
lot of people say they're 80, 90.
I can, Groucho. Here's my baptismal certificate in black and white.
Baptismal certificate, huh? St. Mary's Church, Centerville, Iowa, July 11th, 1856.
And I was born on June the 23rd, 1856.
Well, say, that's remarkable. You said you don't look 97. By the way, if you were there with Custer, there's a small question I'd like to ask you. Weren't Custer and all his men massacred by the Indians?
Yes, that's right. There was no survivors at the battlefield.
Well, I don't want to be nosy, but you don't look dead to me. How did you get away?
Well, I'm a technical survivor. I was left behind to care for a sick buddy. And by being left behind to care of this sick buddy, I missed the battle.
Oh, well, you certainly were lucky, weren't you, huh?
Yes, I was.
And what did you do then?
Well, sir, I was so mad at the Army because they hadn't sent me back help to take care of this buddy of mine that I was angry at him, and I just quit the Army and never reported to the Army again.
You never went back to the Army? You mean you went over the hill? You were AWOL?
Well, yes, you could say I was AWOL for 75 years.
Well, if I were you, Ed, I'd sneak back into that camp and keep my mouth shut. You'll never know the difference, eh? And don't worry about the Indians either. They're all busy hunting uranium. Well, hasn't the Army been after you all these years, Ed?
No, Groucho, according to the Army records, I had...
You're dead?
Yes, I'm dead, and my name is on the monument out on the battlefield out there.
Well, Ed, your secret's safe with me. I won't tell a soul. Right at this moment, however, 200 colonels in the Pentagon are getting dizzy just thinking of your back pay. Well, it's been fun talking to you two, but the time has come to play You Bet Your Life. Just win more than the other couples, and you'll get a crack at the bonanza later on.
In the race for the $1,500, Dr. Fraser and Mr. McBride are leading with $225.
Now, let us see what we have here. We start you off with a $100 bankroll. And whenever you miss a question, you lose half of your bankroll. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's see how much money you can make. You selected the animal kingdom. And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. $10 one is an easy one, then they get progressively harder as you go along. Now, which one do you want?
We'd like to try the $50 one.
50? Is that all right with you?
That's right.
What kind of bird plays an important part in the poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner?
A raven? Would you think it would be a raven?
No, it's the albatross.
You've lost half of your bankroll, so you now have $50.
Now you have $50. Now what do you want to try?
Let's try your 60. Yeah.
60?
Well, let's try the 40.
40?
Yeah.
40? The name Reynard is associated with what kind of animal?
Would you repeat the question?
The name Reynard, R-E-Y-N-A-R-D, is associated with what kind of an animal? You don't know, guess.
I believe it might be a mince.
No, it's a fox. Well, now you have $25. Is that right, George? Now what do you want to try?
Whatever you choose is okay with me. Yeah.
We'll try the $30.
30. According to the song in the Disney cartoon, who was the bull with the delicate ego? He liked flowers.
Ferdinand.
That is right, Ferdinand. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. You now have $55.
Right.
I'm helping you out, George.
You sure are.
Now, what do you want to try? 100? 90? 10?
All right.
60? What was the name of President Roosevelt's famous little Scotty?
Bella.
Joe.
Well, that's close enough. It's Fowler, but we give you that one.
And you wind up with $115.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Thank you.
And that means that Dr. Fraser and Mr. McBride, with $225, in just 1 minute get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. Here comes Mr. McBride and the doctor, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. Groucho?
Well, Doctor, you
Right
may
here.
only make $71 a month, but here's your chance to become extremely wealthy in one crack. Here we go for $1,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please no help from the audience. Here it is. You ready? 150 years ago, an emperor crowned himself because he said, "No man is great enough to crown me." For $1,500, who was this emperor? Talk it over. What is the question you two have decided upon?
Try Napoleon.
That was right, Napoleon. huh?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How much else did they win, George?
Well, you won $225 in the quiz, so that's $1,725 altogether.
What are you going to do with all that swag?
Well,
You going to buy your own hospital?
No, I'm not. I'm going to pay back some debts I incurred in medical school.
Oh, and you? Are you going to get a new tail for the whale? Why didn't you get a new whale for the tail?
No, Groucho, I'm leaving in about a week for a trip through Asia. And I think I'll find some place to do something with that money that will help the goodwill of the United States, some children or someone in the audience.
After donating that $500 tonight to the boys' home, I'm sure that you'll do a lot of good with that, whatever money you got tonight. And good luck, and thanks to both of you. From the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers, that's your life.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission. Also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth, two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Don't be a wacky walker. Be safe, be seen. At night, wear white. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jack Meekin. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is street. S-T-R-E-E-T.
Really?
You Bet Your Life. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who have on display the outstanding DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission and the all-new Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
That's me, Teddy Roosevelt. Delighted. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples. George, who's first?
Well, Groucho, we have some people who were chosen because they have interesting stories to tell. Miss Beverly Ka'anapu and Mr. Ernest Ray. Would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mr. Ernest Ray and Miss Beverly Ka'anapu, huh?
Beverly Ka'anapu. Ka'anapu.
Oh, I see. Ka'anapu.
Yes.
Do you have a Hawaiian name? Is that your real name?
Well, my full name is Beverly Phoebe Kamalulani Ka'anapu.
What does that mean?
Kamalulani, that means under the shade of heaven.
Oh. Where were you born, Bev?
I was born in Kalihi in Honolulu, Hawaii.
I'm all right. How are you? But we always say that if anybody says Hawaii. Hawaii is the correct pronunciation, huh?
Hawaii or Hawaii?
Yeah. But over here they say Hawaii, don't they?
Well, that's the easiest way.
Yes, it is. And also there's no joke. I mean, to say, I'm all right, how are you? To say Hawaii, you're dead. Aren't the real, genuine, blown-in-the-bottle Hawaiians pretty scarce now? I've heard there aren't too many of you left. Is this true?
Yes, that's very true. As for myself, I'm part Hawaiian and part German.
Really?
Yes.
Does that sound? Well, whoever assembled the pod certainly knew what he was doing. Who are you again? I forgot.
Ernest Ray.
Ernest Ray.
Yes, sir.
Oh, glad to hear it. I'm always glad to meet a man who's earnest.
Yes, that's right.
Where are you from, Ernie?
Billings, Montana.
Billings, Montana. That's right out in the wild and woolly west, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You spend a lot of time busting broncos and chasing buffalo?
No, I spend most of my time practicing a flute up there.
Oh, it's not easy on a horse when you're chasing a buffalo.
No.
The flute, you say? You practice the flute?
Yes, sir.
Well, are you pretty cool on the flute?
Well, I was the best flautist in the state.
The best flautist in the state?
Best flautist.
Flautist?
Flautist.
I thought you said you played the flute. What's a flout?
A flout is a flute.
Is a flute?
Yes.
A flout flute? Is it?
Flout flute. Flute is a flout is a flute. It's the same as a flute. It's the same thing. That's the same.
Well, I've learned a word tonight, flautist, huh?
Yes, sir.
And you were the best flute player in Montana.
Yes, I was the best flute player in Montana.
Well, that's an easy claim to make. Can you substantiate this claim?
Well, Groucho, while I was still in high school, I entered a Montana, the flute contest in Montana to see who was the best flute player, and I won first chair. And then after that, I
You won the chair, you say?
Yeah, I won the first chair. I won the first position. I was the first flutist in the contest. They rated me first.
Well, suppose in that contest you'd have hit a sour note, would you have taken your flute and blown your head off?
No, I had third chair there, but I'd probably been denoted to about the fifth chair, I figure, if I hadn't done a good job.
The fifth chair?
I had third chair in the second flute section.
Did you ever have the second flute in the fifth chair section?
No.
I'm supposed to get you confused.
Yeah, well, that second section, that second flute section, there's 10 flutists, and 5 of them got the first
10
section.
flautists, isn't it?
Flautists, yeah. Yeah.
Well, why do they call it flautists when it's really flutists, huh?
Well, that's a foreign word. It's a French word, I think.
Oh, well, why don't you play the French horn then?
No, I don't know how to do that. Anyhow, then...
That hasn't stopped the men in our orchestra from playing. Well, I've enjoyed this little chat with you two, but the time has come for some more serious endeavors, like winning some moolah. Is that a Hawaiian word,
Yes,
moolah?
moolah.
Moolah.
Or kala.
Oh, kala. Well, you're going to play You Bet Your Life. I don't know if you know how to play You Bet Your Life, but we made a little change in our quiz last week. You play the game this way, the same way, with the exception that we start you off with a bankroll of $100. And that's very nice. You can quit now if you want. No. Every time you miss a question, you lose half your bankroll, no matter what it amounts to at the time. Now, let's see how much money you can make. You selected science and medicine. And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is.
Number 7.
Number 7 is $70. In the laboratory, what do you call the small gas burner used to heat test tubes?
Flask.
Talk it over.
Yes.
Value.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. It's a Bunsen burner.
Well, you lost half of your original bankroll, so you now have $50.
You have $50 left in the bankroll. Now, what do you want to go for?
Well, let's try number 8.
Number $80. What is the scientific name for the study of plants and plant life? Talk it over. You're partners.
Etymology. Study of plants.
Scientific name for the study of plants and plant life.
Okay, let's try that. Etymology.
No, I'm sorry.
Wowie.
No, it's botany.
What am I asleep today?
You lost half your bankroll again. You now have $25.
Well, you're still in the running. Now, don't get discouraged. Now, what do you want to try? $90 one? 10? 100?
Yeah. Okay.
How much?
Five.
$50. What rare element do we obtain from pitch blende?
Let me see. I think we get radium.
That's right. Before you change your mind, it's radium, huh?
Well, you now have $75.
It's your last chance to beat the other couples now. Things are looking up a little, aren't they? Now, which one do you want to try now?
Oh, I'm going to try number 9.
$90. Scientifically speaking, animals with backbones are called what? Talk it over.
What do you call them? Mammals? Vertebrae?
Take a stab if you don't know.
Mammals. Oh, vertebrae probably.
Yes, it was vertebrae. I wish I could have helped you, but I couldn't.
Oh.
Well, you lost half your bankroll, and you wind up with $37.50.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't win more. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Well, Groucho, we invited some Navy men to our show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Walt Kluznik to be on the show. His partner is Miss Pat Madgwick. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Walt Kluznik, huh? You're a sailor, huh? You are a sailor, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
You don't have to say sir to me, you know. I'm just an apprentice comedian, 3rd class. Let's see, you're Miss Pat Madgwick?
I'd prefer to be called Patricia Madgwick.
You would? Well, Certainly is no problem for me to call you Patricia. Where are you from, Pat? Patricia?
I'm from England.
England, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. You don't have to be sorry. We all have to be born someplace. Now then, what part of England were you born in?
I was born in Surrey.
Oh, this is like Hawaii. I'm all right. How are you? You speak very, very good English for an Englishwoman.
We knew that.
Of course, after you've been here a while, we'll take care of that. Walt, what is your hometown? Bay of Biscay or something, I suppose.
No, I'm from Butchertown in San Francisco.
Butchtown? What's in Butchtown? Is that a slaughterhouse?
It's the exclusive section of the slaughterhouses.
Well, what made you decide to join the Navy, Walt? Did you want to see the world?
I want to stay out of the Army.
You realize you just wrecked 8 years of hard work on the unification of the services. What ship are you stationed on?
I'm not on a ship. I don't have a ship.
A sailor without a ship? The world is certainly coming apart. Where'd you lose your boat?
I'm on shore duty.
What kind of shore duty do you have, sailor?
Well, I'm a boatswain's striker and
A what?
a boatswain's mate striker.
A boatswain's mate? Well, I hope you're very happy together.
And I work down on Terminal Island and I'm stationed
What's a boatswain's mate?
Well, they take care of the rope, the line on the ship and
Oh.
securing of all the hatches. A deckhand, more or less.
I see. But do you have a good line?
Hasn't been working too well lately.
I don't know why not. You're a pretty cute-looking sailor. What do you think of him, Pat?
He's pretty nice looking. As sailors go.
You don't think they don't, do you? They go hog wild. Well, specifically, what do you do in your job, sailor boy? Walter Klosnick? You sound like you ought to be playing for Notre Dame.
Not me. Well,
I Notre Dame in South Bend years ago.
I take care of the ball fields out there. I'm connected
What? Take care of a ball field?
Yes, sir.
What do you do for the ball field?
Well, I make sure that the field's in condition to play on. I'm connected with the baseball team. Make sure the grass doesn't dry. Throw a little fertilizer here and there. Just maintenance of the ball field.
You never think of a sailor throwing fertilizer around. Well, that's certainly a curious vocation for a man in the Navy. Now, Patricia, what about you? Are you married?
No.
You're not married?
No,
Cute
I'm
little
not.
girl like you, not married? What about you? Are you married, sailor?
Nope.
Well, we're wasting time. Is there anyone present here who knows any reason why these young people shouldn't be married? Speak up or forever hold your peace. Are you ready for the ceremony, Pat?
Well, aren't you being just a trifle hasty?
Well, I have to be. If I know sailors, he's got a date in half an hour. No, this is all in fun. Well, you're a very attractive couple, and I expect you to get married the moment you leave here. How are you going to play? You bet your life. Now, let's see how much money you can make. You selected, do you know about the change in the quiz?
Oh, yes.
We start
yes.
you off with a $100 bankroll, and when you miss a question, you lose half of whatever bankroll it amounts to at that time. Is that clear?
In the race for the $1,000, the Hawaiian girl and the flute player won $37.50, and the secret word is street.
Let's see how much money you can make. You select a general information quiz. Remember now, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. You talk it over your partner.
Lucky number.
Seven's your lucky number?
Let's do it.
Well, we'll have
$70. What is the name of the plane Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic in 1927?
The Spirit
Talk
of,
it over.
The Spirit of St. Louis.
That is absolutely right. The Spirit
Well, you now have $170.
Now, which one do you want to try?
60.
60. What is the distaff side of a family? Talk it over. Come on.
Oh, the female side?
Yes, that's right, the female side.
You've now run your bankroll up to $230.
Now, what do you want to try?
We'll take
90.
number 9.
Okay. What is the proper term for a bicycle built for two?
A tandem.
That is right. A tandem is right.
You now have $320.
It's your last chance to beat the other couples.
We'll be very brave and have number 8.
Number 8. All right. What do you call a motherless calf or an unbranded steer? Talk it over.
A motherless calf, that's a young cow, isn't it?
Yes. Or an unbranded steer. Talk it over. No, I'm sorry. It's a maverick or a dogie.
You lost half of your bankroll at that time, so you wind up with $160.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Before we proceed, I have a note here to remind me of something. Last week, the owner of the Ocean Aquarium at Hermosa Beach, Art McBride, offered to give $500 toward the bus fund for the McKinley Home for Boys. Well, he gave us the money, and I have a further report to make. Mr. Slotkin, president of Abbey Rents, contributed another $500, and those of us on the show put in another $1,000. On top of this, some other contributors, who asked to be anonymous, came through with another $2,500, making a total of $4,500. So that's enough for a brand new bus, and now the 112 boys of the McKinley Home have transportation to take them to Sunday school, the mountains, and the beach. And to all of you who kicked in, my sincere thanks. George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we have a couple of interesting guests who have special stories to tell. Father Michael Montoya of the Claretian Fathers and Nelson Gary. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Well, welcome. Welcome to the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
How do you do,
Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day.
Okay.
Nelson Gary and Father Michael Montoya, eh? Father
right.
Montoya? What should I call you?
Well, you can call me Father Michael. That'll be perfectly all right.
Father Michael, that's okay. Yeah, you know, I'm no authority on religion. Will you correct me if I make a mistake here
I'd
tonight?
certainly be very happy to correct you if you make mistakes.
Well, actually, you'd have to start back about 40 years. Well, you're Nelson Gary, eh?
Yeah, that's me.
How old are you, Nelson?
I'm 12.
12 years old, huh?
Yeah.
Where do you live, Nelson?
I live in San Fernando Valley.
San Fernando Valley?
13888 Dickens Street, West Hollywood.
The Dickens. Well, you said the lucky secret word tonight, street, so you win $50, and Father Michael gets $50 for the parish.
Thank you very much.
I hope.
That's positively sure.
This was just an assumption on my part, Father. Nelson, I realize I'm not being polite, but I think our listeners would be interested in knowing about your arm. Could you tell us about it?
I lost an electric mangle when I was 2 years old.
You lost it in what?
Electric mangle when I was 2.
An electric mangle?
Mm-hmm.
Ironing machine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's too bad. That's a shame. Did you find it much of a handicap?
No, I can do anything anybody else can do just about.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you got that spirit. There's no such thing as a handicap with that kind of spirit. Where do you go to
Thank
school?
you. Van Nuys Junior High School.
Are you pretty good in school?
Well, I belong to the Honor Society. You got to keep up pretty high grades to keep in there.
You belong to the Honor Society?
Yes, you got to get more than half your grades A's.
What is your biggest interest in school?
Athletics, I guess, and in North Hollywood, I belong to a Y club called the Kryptons, and I play first string for their basketball team, and I did play first string for their football team.
Really? Father, what do you think of this boy?
Wonderful. I think a boy who apparently has this handicap and makes a go of things really can prove that where there's a will, there's a way. And I think he's wonderful. God bless him. Nice going, Nelson.
He'd make a pretty good sermon for you, wouldn't he, Father?
Certainly would. Make a
pretty
sermon
good...
for everyone.
Yes, he does. Make one for me, too. What a schlemiel I was in school. Speaking of sermons, isn't it a problem to keep them timely and interesting?
I don't think so, Mr. Marx.
No?
A sermon should be short and to the point, and of course kept with interest.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, I remember when I attended the Catholic University of America, one of the professors insisted that we imitate the commercial announcers. He says when they talk about material things, they put their point right over. We could do the same when we bring the Word of God.
Well, you probably keep yours shorter than most of the commercials. By the way, Father Michael, where's your church?
In San Gabriel, California. I'm at the old San Gabriel Mission.
Could you describe its history here?
Yes, it's the oldest mission in the Los Angeles County. You see, very briefly, Father Cambon and La Samara came to the San Gabriel Valley back in 1771. And this was 5 years, incidentally, before the founding of our country, before the American independence. And this building was destroyed by the earthquakes and the floods, and they built a second one. And the beautiful building that you see now is the last structure, which was completed in 1804.
That's a real old building. Is much of the original structure still standing?
Oh, yes, and very little of it has been touched.
You must have the same landlord I have. Huh? Nelson, my favorite sport is baseball. How is it you're not interested in that?
Well, I am. It's my favorite sport. In fact, I played on a little league team that won the championship this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What position did you play?
I played the outfield, right field.
Outfield? And how are you with batting? Are you any good?
Well, I batted 365 this year.
365? Is that your best record?
No, last year I batted 437.
Oh, you're slipping, huh?
Yeah. League got older, the pitchers got better.
Do you realize even Ted Williams can't hit that good in the major leagues,
well,
365?
He faced a little better pitchers, I think.
Well, he's a much older man, too. He must be hitting around pretty near 30, I guess. Huh? Well, it's been inspiring talking to you two, to both of you.
Thank
and
you.
Now let's play You Bet Your Life for a chance at a lot of money.
If you'll excuse me, Mr. Marks, I think the world of Nelson. I think he's a wonderful boy. And so if you'll excuse me, I met his father, and I think he's also a wonderful man. So I'm going to let him participate in the contest.
Where is your father?
He's right upstairs.
He's backstage.
Oh, you carry your father with
You'll
you?
excuse
Yeah.
me.
Well, yes. Well, come back again, though. Huh? Hi. Well, you said you got a boy to be proud of here.
Thanks, sir.
You think Nelson can count on you to come up with the right answer?
I doubt that.
Why is that?
I got tangled up in one of these men in the street programs one time, and I forgot my own name.
Nelson, I hope you have better substitutes on the ball club than your father is going to be up there. All right, well, let's go. Now, Mr. Nelson, do you know how we play the game?
Yes, I do, sir.
You do, huh? And you too, Nelson?
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, let's go, and we'll see how you make out here.
In the race for the $1,000, Miss Madgewick and the sailor are leading with $160.
Let's see how much money you can make. You select the sports. And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder the question is.
$70.
$70. The world's record is 26 feet, 8 1/4 inches. What is the event? What event would this be?
Broad jump.
That's right, the broad jump is...
Well, you've run your bankroll into $170.
Your bankroll is $170. Now, what question do you want to go for?
We'll go for the 80.
$80. Only one boxer has held 3 titles simultaneously. Who was it?
Henry Armstrong.
Henry Armstrong is right.
You now have $250.
Say, Nelson, your old man is no dope.
I hope not.
How much have they got?
$250.
All right, what one do you want to go for?
We'll go for the 90.
$90. It's the 3 big races. A horse must win in order to capture the Triple Crown. What is the third one?
Oh, it's something Florida. I know what it is.
Scream.
Saratoga?
No.
Hialeah?
No, it's the Preakness.
Oh.
Well, you were up to $250. That was your bankroll. You lost half of it, so you now have $125.
You have $125. Now, it's
Okay.
your last chance to beat the other couple.
We'll shoot the worst. 100.
You going $100? The Immortals of Baseball are honored in baseball's Hall of Fame. Where is it located?
Cooperstown, New York.
Cooperstown, New York is right.
That's great. That was wonderful.
Thanks and good luck to the Soda Plymouth Eels.
And that means that Nelson Gary and his dad with $225 in just 1 minute get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $1,000 question. And here comes our winning couple, Groucho, the two Mr. Garys.
See, your father turned out pretty handy after all, didn't he, Nelson? Huh? All right, here we go for $1,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please no help from the audience. Here it is. 40 years ago, an American minister wrote a novel called The Winning of Barbara Worth. It sold over 1.5 million copies. It's still one of the all-time records. For $1,000, who is this popular writer? Now talk it over.
Oh, I know his name down there. Wasn't he fine? I don't know. Shoot it.
If you don't know, take a guess.
Okay, we'll let you say. Rupert Hughes will say. Rupert Hughes will say.
Rupert Hughes? No, I'm sorry. It's Harold Bell Wright. I'm sorry, but that means the big question next week will be worth $1,500. Well, they lost the big money, but how much did they win the quiz?
$225 in the quiz.
$225. Congratulations, and thanks to both of you and of all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,500. And on Miss Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding 1954 DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth. Two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
Folks, here's a reminder from the Red Cross. You help your neighbors in distress, wherever they may be, when you join the Red Cross. So answer the call. Join and serve. You'll Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jack Meakin. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is hand. H-A-N-D.
Really?
You Bet Your Life. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, a comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who have on display the outstanding DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission and the all-new Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Louder, please. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples. Who's first, George?
Well, Groucho, we have a young married couple for you. They volunteered just before the show started. So, Lieutenant and Mrs. Pusis, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Lieutenant and Mrs. Irving Pusis, eh? Lieutenant, what kind of a name is Pusis?
It's a Polish name.
Oh. What part of Poland are you from?
I was born in Portland, Oregon.
Is that behind the Iron Curtain now? Mrs. Pusis, what is your first name?
My first name is Kelly.
Kelly, Kelly Pusis, Is that anything like Kelly Pool?
Well, I don't know. What is Kelly Pool?
What is Kelly Pool? Well,
yes.
That's something that you play with little numbers, and everyone gets a number. And if you hit the ball that corresponds to this little number, well, that's Kelly Pool.
Oh, thank you.
You're quite welcome. I used to be a bum on Vine Street, that's all I ever remember. How old are you, Lute?
29.
29. What branch of the Army are you in?
I'm in the medical corps, Groucho. I'm a doctor.
Oh, you're a doctor.
Yes.
I should have known you were a doctor. Isn't there some symbol on your uniform there?
Yes, you can tell by my caduceus.
Well, if you keep your head tilted back, nobody will notice. Now, what is the caduceus?
Well, the caduceus is a symbol that stands for a physician.
Oh, I see. I've seen that symbol. It's a picture of a man in a white coat endorsing cigarettes, isn't it? No, actually, that man you see endorsing cigarettes is an actor, you know, whose medical background consists of a card, an actor's equity, and 2 aspirins. Now, tell us, what does a caduceus look like?
Well, you can see it here on the lapel. It's a staff with the wings on the top and 2 serpents entwined around the staff.
Oh, that's all very plain. Next time I see a caduceus, I'll run for my life. Doc, I notice you've got some ribbons on your clavicle. We stole that from Fibber and Molly. That's their favorite word. Could you tell us what some of them are for, those
The red one, Groucho, is the Bronze Star. The middle one is the Korean campaign with the 3 battle star campaigns. And the end one is the United Nations ribbon. The top is the Combat Medics badge.
Oh. You got the Bronze Star, right? Well, Kelly, I know most veterans are fairly modest. Would you tell us why he got a medal?
Well, the Bronze Star was given for his tour of duty in Korea. One of the incidents was the work that Irv did on Pork Chop Hill, where he worked 3 days and 3 nights without sleep.
You know, there are a great many heroes in battle in addition to the men who do the shooting. And I think we got one of them right here. Put it there, kid. Well, you're a charming couple, and I wish you lots of happiness. And now let's play You Bet Your Life. Now, we've added an additional gimmick tonight. If at any time you feel that you have enough money or that you have more money than you feel the other couples are going to get, you can quit without jeopardizing what you have left. Is that clear? You selected sports, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is.
50.
50. Who is called the Dean of American Sports Writers?
That'd be Henry McLemore?
No, he's a good one, but it's Grantland Rice.
You lost half of your original bankroll, which was $100, so you now have $50.
Now, which question do you want?
60.
60. What team won the 1952 and 1953 professional football championships?
Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions is correct.
You now have $110.
Now, which question do you want?
70.
70. What do you call the man who calls the cadence on a rowing team?
Coxswain.
That's right.
You now have $180.
Now, you can quit now. You can go ahead.
We'll take the 80.
80. All right. Who holds the world's pole vault record?
Paul Richards.
No, I'm sorry. It's Cornelius Warmadam.
And you wind up with $90.
Well, that's not too bad. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers. George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we invited some women who work for a specialty store to the program tonight. And just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mrs. Ruth Mitchell and her partner, Mr. Paul Searles, has an interesting occupation. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mrs. Ruth Mitchell, that's you. Where are you from?
I'm Magnan Company in Los Angeles.
Oh, Magnan's, huh? You were born in Magnan's department store? I didn't know they delivered, huh? I presume you were born in the infants department, huh? I meant, where are you from originally?
Well, I came here from Denver.
Denver?
When I was 3 years old.
Oh, I see, huh? Do you have a husband?
Yes, I do.
You do? Oh, you're very
Been married to him for 31 years.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, you don't look old enough to.
Oh, I'm a
I thought you were
grandmother.
31. You were a grandmother.
Uh-huh. I have 3 grandchildren.
Is that so? Gee. I didn't know that. Then you must have had children of your own, huh?
That's right, lovely son and daughter.
Paul Sales, huh?
That's right.
I better be pretty careful how I talk to you. You must be over 8 feet, aren't you?
Oh, no, only 6'3".
Is that so? Where's your home, Paul?
In Washington.
Washington? Another homeless Democrat, eh?
Oh, in the state of Washington.
Oh, well, Washington's in an awful state right now, you know. What part of Washington are you from?
From Tootle, Washington.
I beg your pardon. What was that again?
From Tootle.
Well, why do you tootle? There's nobody on the track here.
Oh,
Nobody's tootled at me for years, you know. Well, stop tootling, Paul, and tell me where you're from, huh?
I'm from Tootle. We have a population up there of about 50 men and hundreds and thousands of deer and elk.
Is that so? What sort of work do you do up there?
I work for Weyerhaeuser Timber Company. I'm in the saw sharpening department. We sharpen the saws to cut the trees with.
Oh. Is that a pretty big outfit, the Weyerhaeuser or whatever it's
One of
called?
the biggest in the world.
Is that so? Never heard of them,
You haven't heard much.
huh? No. You know, there's a quiz later, you know. You're jeopardizing this woman's grandchildren, huh? How did you happen to become a lumberjack, Paul?
Oh,
Were you fond of toothpicks as a child?
Oh, no, I am fond of saws. I started with a saw
Saws,
when
huh?
I was just a boy.
Are you pretty handy with a saw?
Oh, I think so. I've held the world championship with a hand saw for the last 21 years.
Wait a minute. You said Here's $50 for you and 50 for you, Paul. You said the secret word. I forgot. What was it? What was it?
Hand.
Hand. Oh, I said so. Congratulations. Well, tell us about this saw thing, huh? You say you won the world championship with a hand saw?
That's right.
Oh, that's quite an achievement, isn't it, huh?
Well, we think so. That is our...
How long does it take to saw one of those big logs in two? And what is the circumference of one of those logs?
My best record this year was on a 30-inch log. It took me 1 minute and 17 seconds to cut that in half.
You sawed it in 1 minute and 15 seconds?
1 minute and 17 seconds.
I sawed a putty cat the other day. Huh? That's pretty fast time, Paul. You're not Paul Searles. You're really Paul Bunyan, huh? I want to ask you, why do you keep cutting the trees down if you're so crazy about them? Riddle me that.
Oh, so you'll have a chair to sit on?
Well, I have a chair to sit on. Why do you have to keep on cutting the trees down?
Well, you've got to have a house to live in. You've got to have paper to read. You've got to have doors, windows, everything that's made out of wood. You've got to have them. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have all these articles.
I live in a cave.
Well, you've got to have a door. We'll make a wooden door for it.
No, I use a rock at the front door. And I write hieroglyphics on the wall, on the stone. After a while, I'll show you my bear skin, huh? Not you. I'm talking to Paul over there. You keep out of this. You're a grandmother. You may be a lumberjack, old boy, but I'm far from stumped. Now, what are you doing for conservation? Isn't it true that our forests are being denuded?
No, it's
Right.
not. It is not. Absolutely
true?
not. We are going all out for conservation. We plant trees as we cut them. The wind blows the seed all over.
What do you mean? You plant the same tree that you cut?
No. We plant seeds, or natural reforestation comes from the seed of trees that are still standing. We cut in blocks. We'll leave a block of timber standing, and that will be reforested on what we have cut. If that doesn't do the job, the squirrels, they help us out. They'll go out and pack a little seed around and dig down and bury it, so they'll have something next winter. Sometimes they forget it, and that grows into a tree.
The squirrel grows into a tree?
Well, I don't think so, but his seed does.
And they think those squirrels are nuts, huh?
Right.
Well, Paul, I'm glad to know that the big lumber companies are doing something to preserve the forests for the future. And it's a very important part of our whole heritage, and we should take good care of it.
That's right.
I would like to go on talking to you two, but it's time to win some money. Now, you win more than our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big money.
In the race for the $1,500, Lieutenant and Mrs. Pusis won $90, and the secret word is hand.
Now, let's see how much money you can make. You selected the animal kingdom, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. 60?
60.
All right. What is the name of the small lizard that is able to change its color to match its surroundings?
Gila monster?
Talk it over.
Chameleon.
Oh, that's right. Chameleon, I think, is the way it's called.
You now have $160.
Now, what do you want?
60.
And remember, this time before you talk up, one answer between you.
Okay.
Or I may have to chop you down.
Okay.
What is it, 70, did you say? All right. What is another name for the one-humped camel?
A dromedary.
That's right. A dromedary is right. You now have $230. Now, what is your pleasure? You can quit. You can go ahead.
80.
80? Okay. What is the word for the young of geese? What are baby geese called?
Goslings.
Goslings is right.
You now have $310.
100.
100? All right. What kind of animal is a merino? M-E-R-I-N-O. Come on, time's a waste. If you don't know, take a guess.
It's a reptile rat.
No, it's a sheep.
Sheep? Oh.
Yes.
Well, you lost half of your bankroll, so you wind up with $155.
Well, that's not too bad. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth deal.
Thank you, Doctor.
George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we have an Irish housewife and a man with an interesting occupation for you now, and they're coming in right now, I believe. Mrs. Abby Donovan and Mr. Ward Kimball, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome. Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Abby Donovan, you're the Irish housewife, eh?
That's right, Groucho.
Which part of Brooklyn are you from?
Well, I'm from County Cork, Ireland.
You're from County Cork, eh?
That's right.
Well, I haven't pulled one of those out of a bottle in a long time. How long since you left the old sod?
Well, it's about 30 years.
30 years. How old were you when you left?
I was a little girl, Groucho.
Full of the old Irish blonde, yeah. I've got a little Irish in me myself, you know. Huh? I had an Irish stew for lunch today.
Oh, that's
Let's see, who are you again?
Ward Kimball.
Ward Kimball. Where are you from, Ward?
Originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Uh-huh. Somebody out there from Jacksonville, huh? Why did you leave Minneapolis?
Well, it got too cold for us, so we came to California.
Well, I came to California because it got too hot for me. Who do you work for, Ward?
Walt Disney.
You work for Disney? Oh, I thought your face was familiar. Are you the duck or the mouse?
No, I'm an animator and director out there.
Oh, a director? Oh.
Real director.
Keep my mouth shut. I may want a job out there. If you ever need a rat, why, give me a ring. What does a cartoonist do in his spare time? Do you have any hobbies, Mr. Kimball?
Well, one of my hobbies, Groucho, is trains.
Trains, huh? Electric or wind-up?
No, I have 3 full-size Baldwin locomotives and 4 big coaches.
In the house?
In my backyard.
You must have a pretty big backyard, huh?
Well, not too big. It's about 3 acres.
Well, you say you have steam engines out there?
Yes.
Well, can you go to Chicago?
No, my railroad is only 650 feet long.
Well, what's the idea of having a full-size railroad that won't go to Chicago? I don't understand that.
Well, I tell you, one of the railroads was selling one of its passenger coaches, which was 40 feet long, for $50, and so I bought it. You see, I can't resist a bargain.
You paid $50 for this coach?
$50.
You know what Notre Dame just paid for that coach? It's called the Irish Mail. They have a coach there, too. But tell us about some more about your railroad, Ward.
Well, we call it the Grizzly Flats Railroad. My wife calls it the White Elephant Line, but She goes along with it.
But you couldn't go to Chicago in this, huh?
No, we couldn't go to Chicago.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to just go on the train and go to Chicago than have all this stuff in the backyard?
Well,
how much money have you got tied up in this folly out there in the backyard, huh?
Well, I paid $400 for the big locomotive. That's 40 feet long, and I paid...
You know what? You can go to Chicago in the Santa Fe for about $70. You'd have saved $330 right there. And your wife would have had some respect for you, and you'd have been in Chicago. I just don't understand you at all. What do you do for excitement now you have a full-size railroad?
I play the trombone.
I was only trying to be funny. Don't pay attention to me. Do you play in a band, or do you play for the amusement of the neighbors?
Well,
I assume by this time I've fairly decided opinions about you. You play it on the train, or...?
No, I play with a jazz band. I'm the leader and first trombonist of the Firehouse 5+2.
That's a very famous musical outfit, isn't it? Why do you call it the Firehouse 5+2? I never did understand that.
Because there's 7 of us.
You know, and everybody thought the Marx Brothers were crazy. Well, I must say you're an extraordinary young man, Ward, with a lot of talent. And since you play the trombone, could you whip out a little Dixieland for us here?
Well, I don't know, Groucho. I could try.
You don't
I
have
didn't
a
bring
trombone
my horn.
on you, huh?
No.
George, you think you could swipe a trombone from the orchestra out there? Don't wake any of them up. Be careful when you go out there.
I'm surprised you only have one trombonist in your orchestra.
I'm surprised any of them show up. Now, Abby, do you think you could contribute anything to this extravaganza we're getting up? Do you sing or dance?
Well, I could dance a little Irish jig.
An Irish jig?
Uh-huh. Maybe the Irish washerwoman.
Have you ever played the Irish washerwoman?
That's a tough one. That's like playing the bee or something. Trombone.
Well, you see, if you'd have gone to Chicago, you'd have picked that up. Well, warm it up a little. That's enough. Could you give us a reasonably accurate facsimile of the Irish washerwoman?
B flat, boys.
If the boys played with you, huh? All right, downbeat, Mr. Kimball, huh? Send us to Chicago, huh? Boy, that was wonderful. And Abby, St. Patrick would be proud of you if he was here today. With that firehouse music and that Irish dance, we just chased all the snakes out of Los Angeles. Well, I'd like to pursue this conversation. The time has come to make some money.
In the race for the $1,500, the lumberjack and his partner are leading with $155.
Now, let's see how much money you can make. You selected a movie quiz. And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. All you have to do is beat our other couplers, and you'll get a chance at the big money. And you can quit any time you want to if you think you have more than the other couple.
How about now?
You can even quit now if you want. Oh, don't forget, you have a starting with a bankroll of $100.
I'll stay.
That's your nest egg. All right, now, what question do you want? A $10 one, 60, 80, 100? Take your choice.
Well, I think we ought to start about halfway, $50.
All right, Olivia de Havilland has an equally famous sister. What is her name?
Talk
it over. Remember your partners.
Well, let's see. Boy, I know it. She's American. Yeah.
Well, it's Joan Fontaine.
Oh, yeah.
And if you'd have got out of that backyard once in a while... Can't pick up things like Joan Fontaine riding around a fake engine in a backyard. I tried it. Now what do you want to go for?
You've lost half your bankroll. You now have $50.
Boy, my kids are going to sure laugh at me.
I hope they laugh at me. They don't, I'm in a fine fix.
$40.
$40. Who played the monster in Frankenstein?
Boris Karloff.
That's right, Boris Karloff.
You now have $90.
You now have $90. And what do you wish to try?
We'll take a crack at that 61.
You take a crack at the 61? Yeah. It is very nice. Walter Disney. Oh, you dirty crook.
That's all right. I will know the answer.
Walt Disney made a feature-length cartoon that included such characters as Jiminy Cricket, Figaro, and Stromboli. Figaro! What was the name of this picture?
That's so easy, I hate to mention it. Pinocchio.
Pinocchio is right.
You now have $150.
You have $150. Do you wish to continue or do you wish to cease?
Let's try that $70.
70? Clayton Lancaster made a picture that was filmed in the Fiji Islands. What is the name of it? Talk it over.
Crimson Pirate.
No, His Majesty O'Keefe.
And you wind up with $75.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
That means that the lumberjack and his partner with $155 in just 1 minute get the chance of the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question. Friends, most people like to do things the easy way. That's why you'll enjoy driving a new DeSoto automatic equipped with DeSoto full-time power steering. When you turn the steering wheel of a car equipped with ordinary steering, it is actually your muscular strength hauling your wheels around. But DeSoto full-time power steering takes over to do literally all of the work for you, to make turning those wheels a lot easier. And I hope you've noticed I say DeSoto full-time power steering. That means it works for you all of the time, not just some of the time, as some other power steering units. But DeSoto full-time power steering goes to work for you as soon as you start your engine. Doesn't cut on and off, as do other types. Wait until you park with DeSoto full-time power steering. You'll find it actually makes parking a cinch. So visit your DeSoto Plymouth dealer tomorrow and try DeSoto full-time power steering for yourself. It's another one of the many reasons why we say DeSoto puts you ahead automatically.
For the finest car yet, you should drive, you should get the DeSoto automatic.
Remember, the dealer who sells the stunning DeSoto automatic also sells the high-style Plymouth. Now here's the winning couple, Groucho, the lumberjack and his partner, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $1,500 question.
Well, Paul, here's your chance to chop down $1,500 here. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please no help from the audience. Let's see how well you remember recent history. In January of 1952, a freighter sank off the southwest coast of England after a heroic 12-day effort by our captain, Henry Carlson, to save her. For $1,500, what was the name of Captain Carlson's ship? Talk it over.
Don't you remember reading about it?
I read about it.
In England, off of the Bay War, they tried to moor it and set fire.
I remember all about it.
All right, what's the answer you two have decided upon? Take a guess.
It's a Norwegian name.
It's
of
the
boat.
Flying Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Well, that means the big question next week will be worth $2,000. Well, you lost the big money, but how much did they win the quiz, Joe?
Well, they won $155 in the quiz.
Well, congratulations, and thanks to
Thank
both
you.
of you
Thank
and
you.
to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $2,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding 1954 DeSoto automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth, two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Traffic control begins at your wheel. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jack Meakin. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is floor. Floor.
Really?
You bet your life. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who have on display the outstanding DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission and the all-new Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
That's me, Horace Greeley. Well, here I am again with $2,000 for one of our couples. A lot of money, huh?
It certainly is.
Would you like to win it?
Love to have it.
Well, maybe you'll know the answer. Would you split it with me?
I think it could be arranged.
Could be arranged with me, I know. I don't know about it. Who's first, George?
Well, Groucho, we invited some girls who work for a large manufacturing concern to the program tonight. Just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Miss Patricia Darien, and her partner is Mr. Peter Ellesmere Jones. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, folks, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you'll find around the house. Now, let's see. Patricia Darien, huh?
Yes.
And Mr. Peter Ellesmere Jones. Huh?
That's right.
In 7 years on the air, I think this is the first Jones we've ever had.
Well, it's not really Jones, you know.
It's not really Jones?
No, it's Ellesmere Jones with a hyphen sort of mixed up in between those.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, that name has a lot of dash to it if you have a hyphen there. Well, where are you from, Pete?
Well, I'm from Wales.
You're from Wales, huh?
You're
not Jones, you're Jonah. Huh?
Touche.
Well, let's get down to details. What sort of work do you do, Pete?
Well, I had my training as a civil and structural engineer, and at the moment I'm working for Kobig and Kobig on Wilshire, checking some structural steel work for the Marine Barracks at Camp Pendleton.
Oh. And where do you work, Pat?
I work for the Carnation Milk Company on Wilshire Boulevard.
Well, science is certainly wonderful. They're now getting milk from carnations. Huh? I knew you could get it from milkweed, but I didn't know you could get it from carnations. Well, do you operate a milking machine for this outfit, or do you milk by hand?
No, I'm a secretary.
You're a secretary?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, in that case, it's a good thing you don't milk the cows. They'd probably object to your shorthand. Well, I've heard of your company. It's a very famous company, but I know they produce an awful lot of milk. How many cows do they own, Pat?
Groucho, we don't actually own any cows.
Well, what do you get your milk from? Coconuts?
The milk is sold to us by small local producers.
Small cows?
No, small producers.
Oh. Where are you from, Pat?
I was born in Peoria, Illinois.
Peoria, huh?
Yes.
Oh, big. You know, there's an old line. It was a show called Lightning many years ago. It was a very famous play on Broadway. And I remember in this scene, the judge asked this girl, she said, why did you get married? And she said, well, I was in Peoria and it was raining. That's a very famous line out of the play Lightning. Frank Bacon was in it. Are you married?
No, I'm single, Groucho.
You're single, Groucho, huh? That's a funny name. Single Groucho. Huh? Would you like to get married?
Well, eventually, probably, yes.
Eventually, why not now? You know that a flour company used that slogan and sold 45 million bags of flour? You should be able to bag one poor sucker. You married, Pete?
No, I'm afraid not. Well, I'm not afraid, but I'm not.
You're getting alarmed rather early, aren't you?
Not really.
No. Well, Pat, I'd like you to meet Mr. Ellesmere-Jones. Huh? Pete, do you consider yourself an eligible bachelor?
Well, I consider myself a bachelor, but not particularly eligible.
You're alive and breathing, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're a very nice couple, and my advice is for both of you to win lots of money tonight and open a joint checking account. And you'll have something to argue about, and you'll have a very happy marriage. All right, now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. We start you off with a $100 bankroll, and when you miss a question, you lose half of whatever you've got. Is that clear?
Yes.
If you think you've won enough, you can stop any time. Now, let's see how much money you can make. You selected music, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, what question do you want?
Oh, it's 70.
Fine.
All right, 75, did you say?
70.
All right, Jack Meakin and the orchestra will play a song. Let's see if you can identify it.
That's right. Porfirio?
Porfirio is right, yes.
You're living well.
You now have $170.
$170. Now, which question do you want to take?
80?
80? Okay. Andrew Segovia is one of the world's greatest performers on which instrument?
Wonderful.
Guitar.
Guitar is right.
You now have $250.
Now you can go ahead or you can quit.
Wonderful.
90?
I'll try it.
Duke Ellington wrote the number Jack Meakin and the orchestra are going to play. You tell me the name of this modern classic. Play, Jack.
Mood Indigo?
Mood Indigo is right.
Yes, he's now climbed to $340.
What a nest egg for your marriage,
Yes.
eh? It's your
Way to
last,
go.
it's your last chance to beat the other couples. Which one are you going to go for?
Oh, might as well go.
Well, let's go 100.
All right, we all know the song Hail, Hail, the Gang's All Here. From what operetta was the tune taken?
Oh, you're kidding.
Talk it over.
I don't even know an operetta.
Floridor, is it?
No, you ought to know this. You're English. It's The Pirates of Penzance by Gilbert and Sullivan.
Well, you lost half your bankroll, so you still have $170.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers.
Thank you, Groucho.
Sorry you didn't win.
Ladies and gentlemen, for a car with real power, real get up and go, try a DeSoto automatic with the mighty DeSoto 170 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine. This DeSoto Fire Dome engine is designed to give you power with maximum efficiency and economy. And the secret is in the design of the hemispherical combustion chambers. These dome-shaped chambers are the reason why the Fire Dome engine can squeeze every bit of power from your fuel. They enable you to drive your DeSoto automatic on regular gasoline and still get premium performance. Think of that. A 170 horsepower engine operating perfectly that lets you use regular gasoline. I'm sure that once you get behind the wheel of a DeSoto automatic and feel the smooth, powerful response of the mighty DeSoto 170 horsepower V8 engine, you'll say there's no other automobile engine can match it. Visit your DeSoto Plymouth dealer tomorrow. You'll see that the great DeSoto 170 horsepower Fire Dome engine is just one reason why DeSoto puts you ahead automatically.
For the finest car yet, you should drive, you should get the DeSoto automatic.
Remember, the dealer who sells the stunning DeSoto automatic also sells the high-style Plymouth, Well, Groucho, we have some people with interesting stories for you now. They were chosen just before we went on the air, and here they come, Mrs. Pauline Mells and Mr. Eric Sanders. Would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome, folks, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Mrs. Pauline Mells and Eric Sanders. Miss Mells, I'll start with you. What is your hometown?
Crookston, Minnesota.
What's that?
Crookston, Minnesota.
Somebody out there from Venezuela. You're married, I presume, Pauline?
Yes, I am. About 12 years.
12 years. Did you meet this chap in Crookston?
No, I met my husband in a singing class at night school.
Oh. You met your husband at a singing class in night school?
Yes, I did.
In other words, your romance got started off on a sour note, eh?
No, we got along beautifully.
Do you think a duet sounds better when a couple's in love?
I think so. Isn't there a saying that says if music is the food of love, play on?
Have you ever heard a couple of romantic cats on a back fence?
I don't think so.
Where are you from, Mr. Sanders? Sanders.
Mm-hmm. I was born in Colgate, Oklahoma.
Oh. Well, in that case, you must have a full set of teeth, eh? What sort of work do you do, Eric?
I sell worms.
You say you sell worms?
I do.
Well, who buys these worms? Early birds?
No.
Or fish?
Farmers and agriculturists and people who wish to better their soil.
Well, how do worms help the farmer? Do they give him some new angles?
Well, they certainly do. They homogenize the soil and loosen it up for aeration. And, of course, the castings of an earthworm is the richest soil known to science. That's homogenized and blending of all the materials in the soil, and it's deposited around the roots. And, of course, that helps in a tremendous number of ways.
Well, how does the worm know where to go?
They work around the roots of anything that lives, and they will eat nothing which lives, but anything which has lived and died.
Like vultures, aren't they?
Yes. As a matter of fact, they're good at eating garbage, too. Dead animals, anything which has lived and died, either animal or vegetable.
I wish I'd have met you some months ago.
I wish you had, too. I really mean that.
You weren't planning on draping me around an orange tree, were you?
No, I was planning on making an earthworm farmer out of you.
Yeah, well, I expect you to give me some of those worms. I'm going to try it.
Give you?
Well, I'll buy them.
Oh, well, that's fine. When do you want to deliver? I know where you live.
Deliver them tomorrow.
I can't make it tomorrow. I'm delivering $500 worth in Vista.
Well, I hadn't planned on any sale of that magnitude. Well, where do you live now?
Fullerton.
Fullerton. Well, couldn't you put the worms out and just tell them to come to my house? Huh?
No people write to me in Fullerton, this Fullerton, California, earthworms. That's only right, and I get it.
Just Mr. Earthworms, Fullerton, California.
That's right.
Huh? Well, how is it you know so much about worms, Eric? Are you
I
just naturally attracted to each other?
Yes, we have something in common. People don't realize how large an industry it's becoming because of the fact in California now there's an earthworm association with 200 members. I'm not affiliated with it myself because I've always felt that I could merchandise my own product.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reasonably successful.
Yes, you have. Particularly here, huh? Pauline, do you have any hobbies like raising ladybugs?
Yes, I have several hobbies.
Oh, here it comes, huh?
Well, cooking.
Well, let's take them one at a time. You a good cook?
Pretty good.
What's your husband's favorite dish?
Well, he's fond of my prime ribs.
I'm sure he is, but let's take the cooking. What does your husband do for a living?
He's the Los Angeles police officer.
Oh, a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how do you like being married to a policeman?
Well,
I suppose it's all right in a pinch, but how... No groaning, please. Tell us about it.
Well, it has its good points and its bad points. Of course, their hours are long, and you never know when they're going to come home, and everybody's always yelling at them. And
well, they're yelling at everybody else, too.
They're on call 24 hours a day, and the pay isn't very high, and...
Well, as Gilbert and Sullivan put it, a policeman's lot is not a happy one, you know.
That's very true.
You happen to know that song, by the way?
Well, isn't that from the Pirates of Penzance?
Yeah, yes, it is. It's one of my favorites.
I think I might know it.
Should we try it, huh?
I'll
Just a
do
chorus
my
or
best.
so. I'll start, and if you can remember, you just chime in, huh?
All right.
Okay? It's been a long time since I've sung this. when a felon's not engaged in his employment,
or
maturing his felonious little plan, his capacity for innocent enjoyment, is just as great as any honest man. Our feelings we with difficulty smother, when constabulary duties to be done. Oh, take one consideration with another. A policeman's lot is not a happy one. When constabulary duties to be done. A policeman's lot is not a happy one. Now, this is the part I like. Your part I like. When the enterprising burglar's not a burgling, and the cutthroat is unoccupied in crime, oh, he loves to hear the little brook a-gurgling, and listen to the merry village chime, when the cost is finished jumping on his mother, oh, he loves to lie a-basking in the sun, oh, take one consideration with another. A policeman's lot is not a happy one. When constabulary duties to be done, a policeman's lot is not a happy one. Yeah, we did pretty good. I may have to go back on the stage after. Well, it's been fun talking to you two, but the time has come to play You Bet Your Life. Now, we start you off with a $100 bankroll, and when you try to build it up. But when you miss a question, you lose half your bankroll. Is that clear?
In the race for the $2,000, the first couple won $170, and the secret word is floor.
Okay, now let's see how much money you can make. You selected culinary quiz.
Start with 70? All right,
70. Romano, Munster, and Brie are varieties of what food?
Cheese.
Cheese is correct.
Your bankroll is now $170.
$170. Now, which question do you want to try, Eric
80?
the Red?
80.
80. What do you call a Hawaiian feast?
A luau.
Luau is correct. I'm glad you got it.
Well, you now have $250.
$250. Now, what do you want to try?
Shall we try for 90?
90?
We'll try it.
What food do we get from the root of the cassave? C-A-S-S-A-V-E. It's a plant grown in the South that is commonly made into a pudding. And if you don't know, guess.
It's a breadfruit tree, and they pound it up and make a...
Yeah, but what is the name of the pudding?
Oh.
C-A-S-S-A-V-E. Well, take a guess.
Cassave?
No. Sorry, it's tapioca.
Oh, sure. Oh, my heavens.
Well, you've lost half your bankroll, so you still have $125.
No, here's your last chance to be the other couple, so you can quit, whatever you want to do.
Well, we'll try the 100.
$100. All right. Gumbo is another word for what vegetable?
It's,
Okra.
Okra?
Okra, it's also my brother.
And you wind up with a grand total of $225.
Thanks, and good luck to the Soda Plymouth dealers. Give me a match. All right, George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we have a married couple for you now. Dr. and Mrs. Jean Bordeaux. Would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word, and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Dr. and Mrs. Jean Bordeaux, eh? Well, you're a very charming pair. Now, which one of you is Jean?
I am.
Oh, you are, huh? Mrs. Bordeaux, what shall I call you?
You just call me Mary.
Mary, huh? Well, that's a nice, sweet, simple, uninhibited name. Where are you from originally, Mary?
Well, I'm from Murray, Kentucky, Groucho.
Where?
Murray, Kentucky.
Murray, Kentucky?
Yes, it's really a very important town. It was really the birthplace of radio.
Is that so?
The man was Nathan B. Stubblefield.
Is that so?
Yes.
I thought Amos and Andy invented radio. Stubblefield?
Yeah, Stubblefield.
That was the name of the man who invented radio?
That was the name of the man.
Before Marconi?
Yes.
Wait till the Russians hear about that, huh?
He really did invent.
You know what? They're going to claim that they invented Stubblefield. Huh?
He really did invented before Marconi, but, you know, as it often happens that the real person doesn't get the credit, you know.
That's true. Now, Doc, by the way, what kind of a doctor are you, Doctor? Are you an MD, a DDS, or a BVD?
PhD.
A PhD, huh? You got to be pretty smart for that. Mary, does the doc give you a feeling of inferiority, or are you, like most wives, superior to your husband?
Oh, no, I have no feeling of inferiority. After all, I have 2 degrees myself. AB, MA.
That makes Mary 2 degrees smarter than you, eh?
I have an AB and an MA plus the PhD.
There are more degrees around here tonight than you'll find on a thermometer. As a PhD, Doc, have you ever done any teaching?
Yes, I taught at Whitworth College down in Mississippi, at USC, and the Dale Carnegie Institute of Public Speaking and Effective Human Relations.
Why do they call it the Institute of Public Speaking and Human Relations?
Because they teach public speaking and human relations.
Thanks. I thought they taught how to win friends. Why do you emphasize public speaking?
Few things are more important to anyone than to be able to speak effectively in public.
That's true. And one of the things that are more important is being able to keep your trap shut in public. Well, I didn't mean you. Me, I meant. Well, since you're an expert on public speaking, could you give us some tips on the subject, Doc? Could you boil it down to a few words?
Boiled down, I think you could sum it up by saying, just be yourself. Have a good opening. For example, you should startle an
audience. Good opening? You mean the back door, right near where
you should startle an audience.
You say you should startle your audience?
Yeah.
What do you mean? When you open your mouth, you should let a flock of pigeons fly out? How do you startle them?
For example, you might say to this audience, why did you come here tonight?
A lot of them have said that to each other.
Or you could startle an audience by standing in front of them with your hand closed and say, I'm going to open my hand and show you something the world has never seen before. And after I open my hand, they will never see this again. Open your hand, take out a peanut, crack it, and eat it.
It isn't enough that the audience eats popcorn. Now he wants the actors to eat peanuts. Doc, what sort of work are you doing now?
I'm a psychotherapist.
That means nothing to me. What are you doing, Doc?
I help people who have become emotionally upset to get back on an even keel emotionally.
Oh, you're a shrunken head man. You're a couch boy, is that it? What is it like being married to a psychotherapist? Does he ever try to analyze you, Mary?
Oh, yes, there are a few little problems connected with it. For instance, I sort of have a creative imagination, I think, and dream. I have just lovely little dreams, but I just can't dare mention them because, you know, to a psychotherapist, all dreams
have some significance.
Oh, yes, they're very dark. So if I tell my dream, why, he's liable to end up saying, well, now, who do you hate? And who do you want to murder now? And me, well, I love everybody. I long ago took Booker T. Washington's motto as mine. I resolved to let no man belittle my soul by making me hate him.
That's wonderful. Old Booker T. had plenty on the ball, didn't he?
He did.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've learned a lot talking to you two, but I imagine even a successful psychotherapist would like to win some money, wouldn't you? Huh? So let's play You Bet Your Life. Huh? You understand the game, huh? You try to run your original bankroll of $100 into more than our other couples. And remember, if you miss a question, you lose half your bankroll.
In the race for the $2,000, the earthworm grower and the housewife are leading with $225.
Now, let's see how much money you can make. You select a dictionary quiz, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is.
How about $70?
You could discuss it with Mary there.
How
Don't talk to me.
That's all right.
All right, what do you call the jars used for keeping tobacco fresh?
Humidors.
Humidor is right.
Your bankroll is now $170.
Now, what do you want to try?
How about 80?
It's ask Mary. All right, how many years in a millennium?
1,000.
1,000 years is correct.
You now have $250.
You can quit or you can go ahead. It's up to you.
Let's go ahead.
All right, fine.
How about it?
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
What do you want? 80,
About
90,
90?
10, anyone you want. 90. Most of the gold at Fort Knox is in the form of bars. What is the proper word for a bar of gold?
A bar.
Talk it over.
Come on, a bar of gold. Pig.
Pig?
No, you're flirting with it. It's ingot.
Ingot. Oh.
Well, you lost half of your bankroll, so you now have $125.
Now, here's your last chance to beat the other couple.
Make it the 100.
100?
How about it?
All right. If a misanthrope hates mankind, what is a misogynist?
Oh, he hates women.
He sure does. Give him the money. Thanks and good luck to the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
You wind up with $225. And that means, Groucho, that there's a tie for the big question chance. Mr. Sanders and Mrs. Mells with $225, and the doctor and his wife with $225. In just one moment, they'll get the chance at the $2,000 DeSoto Plymouth question. All right, Groucho, here are our winning couples. Mr. Sanders and Mrs. Mells and Dr. Bordeaux and his wife. All set for a chance at the $2,000 DeSoto Plymouth question. Now, each of the couples will write an answer on the card, and, of course, if they all get it right, we'll divide the money between them.
Think carefully and please no help from the audience. Here it is. For $2,000, what is the name given to the promontories on either side of the Straits of Gibraltar? One is in Spain and the other in Africa. It's a name that's been used for centuries.
That's something I know.
All right. Let me see your card. Sanders and Mrs. Mells, Malta? No, that's wrong. Dr. Bordeaux and his wife, Pillars of Hercules, right. So you two win $2,000. Plus, how much in the quiz, George?
Well, you won $225 in the quiz.
That's $2,225. What are you going to do with all that money?
You won't believe us, but we're going to buy a DeSoto.
Are you? Why shouldn't I believe you? It's the best car on the market. Well, congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You bet your life.
Thank you.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember that the dealers who sell the outstanding DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission also have on display the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field. DeSoto, Plymouth, two great new cars. Both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the DeSoto Automatic.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Look out for the driver who doesn't look out for you. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jack Meakin. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is paper. P-A-P-E-R.
You say that every week, don't you?
Really?
You bet your life, huh?
It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
the dealers who have on display the outstanding DeSoto Automatic with fully automatic power flight transmission and the all-new Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Well, here I am again with $1,500 for one of our couples.
First, we have a housewife and a man with an interesting occupation, Groucho. Mrs. Helen Pfeiffer and Mr. Milt Whistler. Would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Helen Pfeiffer and Milt Whistler, huh? Well, so far we've got 2/3 of a bugle corps. Mrs. Pfeiffer, where are you from?
Well, Mr. Marks, I was born in Bayou Sara, Louisiana.
Where is that exactly, say, in relation to Baton Rouge?
Bayou Sara used to be about 100 miles south of Baton Rouge, just across the Mississippi River.
What do you mean it used to be? Did the alligator swallow it up?
Almost. You see, the Mississippi River just washed it away. It flooded, and Bayou Sara went down to the bottom.
So. Well, that's not very handy if you want to go to the post office, is it? You're Milt Whistler, is that right?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. I suppose you've had all the jokes about Whistler's mother.
I'm afraid so. That's been run into the ground.
Been running the ground, you say?
I'm afraid so, yes.
Well, I'll get in a hole someplace and try it again. What is your hometown?
I was born in Los Angeles, just below the Coliseum.
Well, you must see the football games free then, huh?
Taxes
I was
are
going to
taken
propose
out.
to you.
After taxes are taken out, it's $71.30.
After all the medical education you've had, huh? You could make more money slicing salami in a delicatessen. As a matter of fact, there's not too much difference. Well, I admire you, Doctor. When a pretty girl devotes her life to helping other people, she deserves a lot of credit. You can operate on me anytime you want. And you're Art McBride?
That's right, Groucho.
Mm-hmm. Where are you from?
Well, I was from Canada, from Vancouver, but I've been in the United States many years.
Why did you leave Vancouver?
Ran out of fish up there.
Were you a fisherman?
That's right. I was in the commercial fishing for about 25 years.
And what sort of work do you do now?
I have the Ocean Aquarium down at Hermosa Beach, Groucho.
Oh.
About 12 miles south of here.
What kind of a place is that?
It's a public aquarium with a display of all the different types of fish. There's sharks and seals and sea lions and bat rays, electric eels, piranhas, and big octopus. So I could go on naming a lot of things.
Octopus?
That's right.
What is the plural of octopus, do you know?
Octopi or octopuses. Whichever you want.
What is the most interesting exhibit you have to offer?
We have a new one, Groucho. It's Winnie the Whale with the...
Winnie the Whale?
With the detachable tail.
Oh. Is that anything like Minnie the Moocher? I beg you, it sounded like you said Winnie the Whale with a detachable tail. Would you give me that again?
Yeah, that is correct.
That is correct?
Yes, sir, that is.
What do you mean, a detachable tail?
Well, it's about a year and a half ago that Winnie was a California gray whale swimming out in the ocean, quite happy. And the destroyer...
How do you know?
Well, I'll take that back. She was swimming out in the ocean. And
it's not easy to know when a whale is happy. I've hung around a lot of them, believe me. They're tough going. They won't say, they can have a headache and you won't get a peep out of them. They just sit there and spout. Well, tell us some more about this detachable tail.
Well, the destroyer rammed the Winnie, and the tail was completely cut off by the propellers of the ship. Mm-hmm. The Coast Guard picked the whale up and brought her into shore at San Diego at Mission Bay. I went down with cranes.
No, I didn't get a lifetime pass.
What sort of work do you do now that you're out of the Coliseum?
I'm a rose hybridist.
Rose hybridist? I knew her very well, eh?
You did? Good.
She had a pair of the prettiest stems I ever saw. Now, just what is a hybridist? Huh?
Hybridist is a man who makes his living crossing plants.
Well, don't ever cross a snapdragon. You'll take a bite out of your plants if you do that. Well, I don't understand. What is the purpose of all this double crossing?
Well, the end result is a new variety or a new strain with improved characteristics such as longer bud form, better foliage, more vigor, more fragrance, better bloom habit.
You mean every time you cross the flowers they improve?
No, not every time.
No,
not by a long shot.
Have you developed any neurosis yourself? I have a neurosis. Any new roses, I mean.
Yes, I've developed 4 or 5. Our firm, Germain's, have introduced varieties such as Candle Glow, Amigo, Grand Canyon, Old Historic, Sun Valley, and Chrysler Imperial.
Chrysler Imperial?
Yes, Chrysler Imperial. Very fine rose.
What about calling one the Groucho Special? After all, I'm sort of the flower of American manhood.
You got any varieties to suggest as parents?
Well, that's what they mean when they call me a blooming idiot. Well, I'd like to go on talking to you two, but now it's time to play You Bet Your Life. Tonight we've got a surprise for you. We've added something to the quiz. You play the game exactly the same way with this exception. We start you off with a $100 bankroll, and when you miss a question, you lose half of whatever you've got. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right, now let's play it and see how it works. You selected movie quiz.
70. Want to try with 70?
70. $70. All right. Who plays the title role in the motion picture Julius Caesar?
I know. Oh. I know, and I just couldn't think of it.
I know. Sometimes you get nervous up here. It was Louis Calhoun.
Oh.
Well, you've lost half your bankroll, so you now have $50.
Is that clear? Instead of having 100, you now have 50.
I'm sorry.
Let's try the 30.
Okay.
30. Betty Grable and Marilyn Monroe are 2 of the 3 female stars in How to...
Raised her out and brought her up to the ocean aquarium, and I embalmed the animal.
Well, Art, I think you're a genius. Not only that, but you're a great businessman. A smart operator and a whale of a fellow. Put it that way. I'm just humoring you. I don't take any chances with a screwball who embalms whales. You know, he might take it in his head to put me on exhibition. Well, I must say I've learned nothing about whales here tonight, but fortunately the time has come to play You Bet Your Life.
Can I ask you a question just before you get on?
Well, it depends.
I was watching one of your shows, Groucho, around Christmas time, and you were going to get a bus for the McKinley School for Boys.
That's true.
Did you get it?
I don't think they've got it yet. Why do you ask?
We have 2 ravens that collect pennies from people. Down at the aquarium, the people give them pennies, and they hide the pennies, and we've been saving them for some good charity. There's about $500 in those sacks, and the ravens, I think, would like to help you with your cause and fix those schoolboys up with a bus.
Well, Art, I think that's a wonderful idea, and I'm pretty sure your $500 should bring that total to just about what they need for a bus.
That's fine.
I'll throw 100 of my own money in there, too. I didn't get it from a raven, but I'll throw on that. Well, now we got $600, huh? Well, you know, we've had a lot of interest in this, and during the week I'll find out exactly how it stands and give you a complete report. All right, now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You select a general information quiz, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is.
In the race for the $1,500, the first couple, Mrs. Pfeiffer and Mr. Whistler, won $80, and the secret word is paper.
We start you off with a $100 bankroll, and when you miss a question, you lose half of whatever you've got. Now, which question do you want to try for? 10, 50, 70, 90, 100?
70.
How much?
70.
70. Now, what do you call the special type of scissors used to cut cloth so it won't ravel?
Pinking shears.
Pinking shears is right.
You now have $170.
See how handy it is to have a girl on the show who does operations? It's probably pinked many a customer down there. 80. Have you ever had a doctor that looked as good as that?
I'm going to get sick tonight.
Marry a millionaire. Who was the third?
No, you said Lauren Bacall. Betty Grable, and Marilyn Monroe.
That's right. So you got the whole three.
Well, your bankroll is climbing again. You now have $80.
Now you have $80. Now what do you want to try?
Let's try the $80.
All right. $80? What is James Wong Howe's job in the making of a movie?
He's a cameraman.
That is true. He's a cameraman.
Your bankroll now amounts to $160.
Which question do you want this time?
Shall we take the 90? Do you want to take the 90? All right, the $90 one.
90. Who is the director of such pictures as The African Queen and Moulin Rouge? Who is the director? Very famous director.
Oh.
All right, Isabel.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should have known it. It's John Huston.
And you wind up with $80.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We have a man with an unusual occupation, Groucho. His name is Mr. Art McBride. His partner, Dr. Eleanor Fraser, was chosen by our studio audience just before we went on the air. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Eleanor Fraser and Art McBride, huh? Dr. Eleanor Fraser, huh? You're Art McBride, huh? Eleanor, you're a doctor?
Yes, I am.
Well, compared to my doctor, you're certainly a treat instead of a treatment. Where are you from, Doc?
Well, I was born in Woodlake, California. That's a small town on the way to Sequoia National Park. But now I live in Laguna Beach.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Not married, huh? Really? Being a doctor, I thought maybe by this time you'd have some guy all sewed up. How old are you, Doc?
I'm 26.
26. Well, that's a very nice age for a doctor. What kind of a doctor are you? Are you horse, human, or tree?
Well, I'm an intern, but I'm planning to specialize in radiology.
Where do you do your interning?
At Los Angeles County Hospital. That's the second largest hospital in the world.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
Does a doctor make pretty good money? I understand they're all loaded.
Well, I'm not. I make $75 a week, and when taxes, a month.
$75 a month?
Yes, and after